welcome to Comic Book Day. I'm Joe, and I'm here to show off all the comics that I read this week, because I'm really far behind on reading all my comics, so I'm still buying them, but I'm going to show off the 3 that I managed to get read this week. And starting with Ice Cream Man number 5. This feels like it was a real long wait for this issue, but it really was only like 2 months, or maybe it was 3 already now. And in that time, I went through and reread the whole collected trade paperback. But this issue was really great, really crazy. As you can see on the cover, this issue is titled Ballad of a Falling Man, and it's tracking this guy who's climbed up to the top of his office building and has thrown himself off of it. We find out pretty much right away that the smiling man, the ice cream man, has come to their office, and he said that he changed into a vulture before telling this guy to go jump off the roof. We then see the vulture is in the boardroom, I think is where it is, and it's pecking out, just killing these different random employees that are there. And we follow this lady, Veronica. We reveal that her name is Veronica eventually. And she's going through the office and just running into all these different horrors. This one guy confesses his love for her, while at the same time showing that he murdered his husband, and he's got his head. And then she starts to get followed by the vulture, only to be saved by Caleb, the man in black. He shoots the vulture with an arrow and really has no interest in her at all. He shows up again at the end after she's escaped from the building, and we see that Bill has finally hit the ground, and by the time she gets out, already police and ambulance have shown up. Ice Cream Man is just proving to be crazier and crazier, and I love it. It's also really, like, I don't know, this issue was especially really weird. It tries to be, like, kind of profound about these weird, strange things in life, and, like, I mean, this guy, as he's falling, is talking all about, or is thinking to himself all about his life, and how he's leaving behind his wife and 2 mistresses, but he loves all of them, and he feels bad that he, is kind of lying to all of them because he cares about them all. And then just kind of contemplating his own life, it's kind of similar to the Junkie one, I feel like, where it's that was issue 2, and that one's just following like this junkie and kind of traces her and her boyfriend's path, their descent into like becoming drug addicts, really. And so the comic, kind of focusing on these weird things, setting up this crazy world where the Ice Cream Man can just do any kind of horrible thing to anyone he wants. It's great. It's like a weird, really messed up Twilight Zone, but if the Twilight Zone was like an actual entity walking around as an Ice Cream Man, and now we have kind of like a Rod Serling type maybe going around, and, well, he doesn't go around and save the day, I guess, in the Twilight Zone, so that part doesn't work. This is Immortal Hulk number 3. This has been such a great series so far. It kind of continues its very, kind of horror roots, although this one becomes a little bit more like a action superhero kind of comic, because the Hulk is going up against Hotshot, the human ray gun, and it's told through like 3 different stories, 3 different eyewitnesses of the Hulk. And so you get these different artworks all throughout it, and you get kind of, these different takes on what's going on. There's this cop who really likes the Hulk, this priest who's kind of terrified by the Hulk, and this old lady who is completely against the Hulk. She was on Hotshot's side. And yeah, it was great. It was a funny issue, but it like balanced really great with like horror. I mean, this one doesn't have as much horror as like the first 2. The first 2 are really kind of, a lot scarier. But the Hulk is still kind of doing his same, going around and judging. And then the end of it kind of has this kind of shocking, upsetting twist that, I don't know. I don't know if it was the Hulk who went and murdered Ray Gun's girlfriend, or if it was, or not Ray Gun, but Hotshot, or if it was him before he went to this church. I kind of think maybe you're supposed to think it's the Hulk, and that you're kind of supposed to be on the side of like the priest, and that really this is telling you, like, you know, where he thinks that the Hulk is the devil pretty much, and that's it. At one point, Hotshot accuses him, and the Hulk just says, "You're damn right." So I like this Hulk, the Hulk himself, being able to talk and come out at night and be more of a monster. And this book is just super great. And last, this is Infidel number 5. This is the conclusion to this series, and it was a really great end. It begins by finally revealing what happened when when the bomb went off in this apartment building. This guy had been building it, you know, and moving all these boxes out into the hallway. One of them happened to have a bomb. But him moving all his stuff out into the hallway really had made this group of other, you know, people in the apartment building really paranoid about him. And, you know, one guy is trying to argue that it's not about racism, it's just that he has all these weird boxes and it's suspicious. But he teams up with this other, you know, couple who seem to be definitely more openly racist than he is. And so they go just to kind of snoop around his stuff and investigate what's in there, and they set off the bomb. And so the racist couple is killed. The guy who, you know, kind of says that he has good intentions with being paranoid about this guy, his name's Mitchell, and he kind of is revealed, I think, to be kind of the main ghost maybe behind it all. There's a Korean couple that's killed also, and Mitchell speaks Korean, so he, like, you know, talks about how they are kind of racist. And, you know, it is, this whole series really is kind of showing where, like, anyone can be prejudiced or racist. Even at the very end, Aisha has to move back in with her mom, and then is kind of dealing with, like, oh, I don't like her at all because she's a radical Muslim. But it's like, well, if you don't like her, you're no better than all the people who don't like non-radical Muslims, or, you know, who don't like black people, or don't like anyone. So it has a really great message at the end. The actual issue itself is really good. It's got a lot of crazy ghost stuff, some of the craziest, and then it's mostly all, it kind of reveals that Medina was kind of the real savior, or at least really was the one who had the power to do anything in this story. And it kind of felt like this good little twist where, like, oh, we thought Aisha was the main character, but then really we kind of find out that she's not, and it's more about Medina. And, you know, I like when there's that kind of switch in a movie, a horror movie especially, and so it's cool to see it incorporated into a comic book. I haven't ever seen that. Probably it's been done before. And then in the end, it comes down to Tom, Aisha's boyfriend, being kind of possessed by, I think, Mitchell's ghost specifically. And he's going after Medina after having discovered her with their 2 dead friends, who were killed by ghosts. But, you know, in the end, Medina, after being very badly attacked by the ghost, by Tom, she's finally able to blow up the building a tiny little bit, they reveal. It doesn't destroy the building, but it does force everyone to have to evacuate the building. And her blowing it up also saves Aisha kind of from her coma. So obviously it takes out the ghost to some extent, but the very last page reveals that there is still some ghosts in there. And now this new developer wants to go through and, you know, change this into like a, I think he wants to make a hotel or shopping center or something. I can't remember. But, you know, it just shows that this is not over. It's a cycle of violence and racism and everything. So, a really great ending to what's been a really great comic. And definitely anyone should go through and check this out now that it's over. If you didn't read it, go through, pick up the trade paperback once it comes out. And I think I heard that they're making a movie off of it too, so it'll be really good because it has a very great story for all of it. Infidel has had really great artwork this whole time, and this issue kind of changes it up in a cool way, where this flashback at the beginning is drawn a little bit different than, you know, the normal series. And all these explosions that they have in here are really great. I love the way they use colored. You know, they use this kind of big splash of colors, at least for like explosions and ghosts kind of. And then, like I said, this issue has some really crazy ghost stuff. This is kind of all the ghosts combined into like one, just kind of coming out after Medina and also after this neighbor that lives there. And then here we get a shot of Tom possessed by the ghost of Mitchell. And, you know, this is a really freaky image. He has his face cut up there. You can't see it in the shadow, but that is why he's wiping it off. And it kind of adds to the creepiness and kind of added to him, like, being driven mad. But here, I think, is some of the best stuff where it goes through and kind of shows you what each of these ghosts look like. And, you know, they all kind of have their own different personalities. You can tell, you know, while reading it, how they kind of were affected by, you know, how they were killed and how they were blown up in the explosion. And then, you know, here they are all coming after Medina. And like I said, this is a really great ending. The ghosts are even freakier than normal, I feel like, because now they kind of have some personality and you understand who they are. So yeah, this has been such a great series. And then there's the final ghost kind of at the end, while at the same time you have a nice image of Medina with her mom kind of embracing there, just trying to accept her, while at the same time kind of being met with, maybe it won't ever matter how much you accept someone, because there will always be these ghosts and these hateful people. Really great comic. Of course, always I love this back where it shows just a kind of little creepy scene. Alright, so thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully next week I will get more comics read and be able to show off more of what I bought. So please go through and like and subscribe. Leave a comment telling me whatever you read this week, and make sure to come back next week.